Welcome back to another episode of Liberty and Morality Defined presents Why Do People Cheer Death? So Fidel Castro has died in the waning days of 2016. He was still a member of humanity. Arguably, he wasn't on the lighter or more desirable side in terms of the promotion of peace, the creation of real wealth, or the promotion of humanity as a whole. But why mock him now? Why mock him at all? The Thanksgiving weekend in the United States has witnessed the atrocious attacks on a dead man guilty for a lot of things that are undesirable. Castro has undoubtedly been the cause of suffering for so many, yet it seems so many of the keyboard warriors of social media mock and berate him unnecessarily in such a way that is eerily similar to the way Saddam Hussein was murdered by invaders, claiming he was in possession of weapons of mass destruction. Of course, that was after more than a century of Western intervention in a region of turmoil, all stemming from that region's own inconsistent moral codes and philosophies. The Western intervention was simply gasoline poured on an already ignited oil fire. The hypocritical icing on this cake is that the Western societies intervening have their own inconsistent moral codes and philosophies. So why the use of the admiration of Castro by others only to slander his admirers' intelligence when it is their nescience that is responsible for the trouble in our lives, not a dead man or even when he was living? Or is it really only the nescience of those admiring someone's political leanings which don't match those of their or his dissenters? I'm pretty sure spending time taking cheap shots at a dead man as a means to insult others, while claiming in some fashion to be pointing out inconsistencies in the living, now is a less efficient way to create more peace in the world than by teaching life skills to others, such as how to ask questions for clarity. After all, if the goal of those mocking Castro and his admirers is to achieve peace and prosperity by getting such minds to reconsider their actions, then how is setting up the potential for blowback by attacking people who truly do not understand what they are supporting not going to allow them the ammunition to escalate verbal hostilities, especially verbal hostilities they don't recognize the purpose of, then to escalate them to violence as retaliation and revenge instead of simple, honest vindication and enlightenment? Peace and prosperity don't start by destruction and mocking. It starts by creating and defending. There is no honor in mocking dead men to teach the living lessons. The lessons are taught when the living find what you are creating to be interesting and of value to them too. To say it is acceptable to ridicule those who assault our peaceful means without recognition of if they understand why they are a threat is to ridicule a child having a fit of anger, not understanding how to communicate his or her ills. The child will take offense or grossly misinterpret his or her own actions, and that only cultivates further complications, which will need to be problem solved in the future. But at what expense of resources, of our time, our intellect, and our labor? What will we not be able to accomplish by having to go back and solve this problem that could have been prevented previously? And how many people will give up before that task is even recognized, let alone the comprehension of such context begins to being unraveled? If we who are advocates of freedom, peaceful anarchism, and voluntarism are honestly seeking to truly be masters of the only domain in which we can justly seek to control, our minds, then we will seek clarity of context in those whom are causing trouble for us and themselves. That's the real sacrifice of a free mind, to make time to help others become our equals in self-mastery. The sacrifice is not in submitting to a collective rule of law for some greater good, or a collective thought process, or even an organization. That's about control and central planning of lives we don't even know exist, let alone by a number tattooed on their arms or a social security number that they have to give up if they want to be employed. The journey to self-mastery and true freedom begins with the creation of a goal of crystal clarity which can be used to create parameters, and which means can then be employed to achieve the goal in question without contradiction and exclusivity. My goal is that all interactions should be voluntary unless another has, with intent, to hurt, transgressed against myself or another. I made time to create my goal. I made time to define it with the utmost clarity. And I made time to craft parameters from which to work inside in order to achieve my goal in a way that is not contrary to it. And my goal is universally applicable to all of humanity. I did this in my book, Morality Defined, and then I decided to give it away for free. What is your goal? For now, I'd like to thank you for your time. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and give it a thumbs up. I base all of my work on my books Liberty Defined and Morality Defined. If you'd like to encourage more content like this, please visit my website, jimlimberdavis.com, to explore more of my works, download free copies of my books, and consider donating even just $1. Thank you so much for taking a peacefully proactive solution in raising humanity's pinnacles of success faster and more efficiently through peaceful comprehension and creation instead of hostile ridicule and destruction.